And welcome. April Fool's Day, we thought we'd start just about 5 minutes late. Not really, I got caught in the Beltline traffic jam. So some construction traffic out there. So we got run a little bit late, we apologize. Last week when I was here, I was talking about getting listings, and Leo asked the question, what pictures do you share with them? Because I made some mention of when you make a statement, show pictures as proof statements, show evidence of what you're saying. And I thought, that might be a good thing to talk about today, or at least show you pictures of. Imagine that. So, listings are the name of the game. We know that. And so, what I decided to do was bring my listing presentation. Now, some people do their listing presentations on computers. Some of them use a standard listing presentation that we've created for you and is available for purchase, which gives you some broad information about 5-star, and it's really helpful. Some people have put their listing presentations on their laptops or tablets, and they present them that way, and that's all great stuff. Whatever works for you. What works for me is being able to know my presentation so well that I can move to any point in the book and feel pretty confident that what I'm going to share with a prospective client is going to be a proof statement about what I'm saying. When you're new in the business, and this goes way back when I was new in the business, and it holds true today, if you're new to the industry, focus your attention, focus your credentials, your sell, if you will, on the company that you're with, the caliber of people that you're with. And to that purpose, you can talk about 5-star. And these folks in our graphics department have done a fabulous job at creating a whole bunch of really cool statistics. We have statistics on GRAR that show that we sell more sides than anybody else, not even close, that our company growth has been pretty phenomenal. We can talk about the market share. We can show them graphics in this form, or we can show them graphics about our market share in this form. There are a whole bunch of graphic. Here's the Muskegon County market, for example. We hold a pretty big edge in Muskegon County. Now, again, if you're new to the industry or even new to 5-star, it's an opportunity for you to take something and say, this is the company that I work for, the caliber of people that I work with, and this is what we bring to the table. We bring a lot of sales to the table. There are a lot of our agents in our company in sheer numbers, but more importantly, there are a lot of our agents in our company who are doing a lot of business. And if you list your house with me, for example, you're going to benefit from that. As you start to grow in the business, and my point is, when you're showing them pictures, to them, it does two things. One is, it's a proof statement of what you're saying. Secondly, it helps them retain the information better. You're going to retain the information twice as well if you see it as well as hear it. And I don't know if that's the exact statistic, but it's pretty high. So how do you do that? How do you create a listing presentation? And I learned a simple way, which is years ago, go from general to specific. If I'm going to talk about what my marketing plan is, my credentials and all of that, I actually created a listing presentation which starts out with who I am. And then talks a little bit about my marketing group, which isn't really a team, it's really a marketing group. It's comprised of marketing individuals who focus on writing copy and video editing and so on and so forth. I give a little indication of some of my credentials, that I've written a book on real estate, that I am a member of the Floyd Wickman Master Sales Society, that I've written articles for Noji.com. I have ABR, ePro, the Graduate Realtors Institute. I've been a member of the CRS. And then I'm going to share with them some information about what we're going to do, because I don't want any surprises. And in fact, I share it in their direction. When I put it out, they can actually see the agenda, if you will, that I hope to accomplish in our meeting. And the reason that I do that is, again, I want to emphasize it, that I'm not here to surprise them. I'm not here to trick them into anything. I'm here to have a meeting, and here's what I hope to cover in the meeting. It gives you, the professional, the control of taking the meeting and saying, what I'd like to do, if you don't mind, is I want to find out a little bit about you, ask a few questions about why you're moving and so on. Then I'd like to look around the house. I want to show you how I get homes sold, my marketing plan. We're going to review the value estimate of your home, the comparative market analysis, if you will. I'll share some information about the forms that we use today. They've changed over the years, and I want to make sure that you're up to date with the kind of forms that we use. And then ultimately, you get to decide, as I get to decide, whether or not we're a good match. It's your decision whether or not I'm the right real estate agent for you, and it's my decision whether or not, based on all of the information that we collect, whether or not yours is a listing that I can throw all of my energies into. Does that seem fair? I hope you noticed that I said that my message was, I don't take every listing that I go on. I take the ones that are going to sell. And if yours isn't going to sell, then I'm probably going to not take your listing. But I'm going to do everything possible to get that listing at a price and in a condition and terms that will sell. So, some people also ask me, why do I ask questions before I look around the house? Some of the clients say that. And I explain to them, sometimes when I ask the questions, the nature of the questions, if I ask them after I've looked through your home, it appears as though I'm trying to make some statement about your house. And I'd rather not do that. I'd rather ask the questions first and then answer those as we go through the house as well. Does that seem reasonable? And in most cases, they'll say, yeah. If they object to it, if they say, no, I want you to go look through the house first, I'll go and look through the house. My preference, though, is that I want to take control of my listing appointment, and because there's purpose behind it. There is very specific goals and objectives as I go through. And then I'll say, well, if you don't mind, let's get started with some questions. And again, I share the questions. I don't want them to think that I'm going to pull a tricky one, surprise them, take a curve, throw them a curveball. My first question is pretty easy. Why are you moving? What do you want what do you need to move? And is there a certain number you had in mind that you need to net in order to make a move? What major improvements have you made? Have you updated the kitchen? Have you put on an addition? All of those kinds of things. I go through all of the questions and I write down the answers. And the reason is, in these questions, in the answers to these questions, I'm going to get the information that I need to propose a marketing plan for them that will sell their house. And ultimately, the last question is kind of a tough question for a lot of agents to ask, and they don't ask it. And it says, what would you need to know from me today in order to get the ball rolling? It's a simple question, but what do you need to know? What do you need to hear from me in order for you to make a decision today? And if they say, well, I don't know, that's why we have you here, that's okay, fair enough. We'll move on. And then I go through and look at their house. And before I stand up to look at their house, I say, well, a couple of things. If I find something that could make your house sell better, more quickly, and for a higher price, do you want me to share it with you, yes or no? And invariably, the answer is, well, yes, of course, we want you to share that with us. And so they've just given you permission to criticize their house. And in a constructive criticism way. They've said, yes, we want you to tell us to paint the Pepto-Bismol bedroom. We want you to tell us to fix the broken window. We want you to tell us the things that are going to help us get more money, sell more quickly, and at the highest possible price. And we have a question. Do you leave that seller's book, Tammy Vroma, do you leave that seller's book with the sellers? If not, what do you leave? Well, actually, Tammy, in many cases, I actually have 4 of these books, or 5, somewhere in there. And the other books have zipper covers, and I actually send them out beforehand. I have them delivered by courier. Especially with high-end listings. And I give them the opportunity to review this information before I go on to the listing appointment. I don't leave anything there. I take that back. I leave the listing contract. If I don't get it signed, I leave the listing contract. But I also leave a copy of my marketing plan, which is like 2 pages long. It's relatively brief. It explains what I do on this day and so on and so forth. But no, I don't leave the entire package. I do have it couriered out. The reason that I have it sent out by courier is I think it's a lot more powerful than having me knock on the door 2 days before the listing appointment and say, by the way, I want you to drop this off. I think that when it's delivered by by a third party, it has a lot more professionalism to it. So, when I come back to the table, after I go through their home and I make a bunch of notes about what they can do to sell their house, to improve their house, to get it ready for market, I'll come back to the table. And I don't go into the question of price right away. I, in fact, go back to my outline and I say, I'm going to show you what I do to get homes sold. But first of all, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my company. Obviously, I work at 5 Star Real Estate, and here's all the cool things about 5 Star. We sell a bunch of houses, more than anybody else. We're growing like crazy. We got a lot of great agents who are selling a lot of houses, and there's a very good likelihood that somebody I know at 5 Star is going to sell your house, because the word's going to get out within our company. But beyond that, I have my own marketing company, which I've established, which is called Premier Home Group. And I explained to them what Premier Home Group is and how we work and the kind of work that we do. And I go through, and for example, I'll pull out a brochure and I'll say, here's just a simple brochure that we did a few years back. And I'll open it up and say, here's the kind of copy we write, for example. Live well. It has an updated white kitchen that beckons friends to gather round for lively conversation, robust laughter, and toast to good fortune. All of my brochures and marketing materials are focused at how people will live in the home, not so much about the sticks and bricks. We can talk about square footage, and we do in the back, but I want people, when I'm marketing a property and creating marketing materials for a property, I want them to think about their dream. How do they want to live? How do they want to experience that house? Here's a condominium. Thing about condominium owners or people who want to buy condominiums is they don't want to shovel the walks when they come home. They don't want to mow the lawns I live in a condo. I don't want to do any of that ever again. I don't miss it at all. I like having a warm cup of coffee in the morning and watching the snowplow drivers clear my driveway. That's what I like. So, condo. After a long day, slip into something comfortable. Tired of mowing the lawn or shoveling snow at the end of your busy day? Try this on for size. Come home and relax. Cook dinner in a sparkling clean kitchen or grill on the extra large deck. Wave hello to the lawn maintenance crew and say hello as they do the work, not you. That goes really right to the heart of what a condominium owner is buying. They're not buying a house that they want to plant tomatoes in anymore, that they want to plant tomatoes in a garden anymore. They want easy living. They want low maintenance living. So the marketing materials create that. I talk about the website. I talk about the what happens in my marketing plan in the first 24 to 36 hours. It says, this is all the stuff I'm going to do. I'm going to put it on Facebook. I'm going to put it on the MLS. I'm going to mail it to an email burst to 3,000 people on my database. I'm going to share all of that information. And then the very next day, it's going to appear on all of these websites, even Remax and Coldwell Banker and KW and Century 21. So does everybody else. Difference is I'm the one who's telling them that it's going to show up on other brokers' websites. And it says it right there, so it's proof. And it does. The other thing I do is I show them the kind of flyers that I'll make for them for open houses or to have distributed as mailers in their neighborhood, for example. I make up postcards and have postcards produced to announce that there's open houses and an open house is going to occur. Again, Sunday, Monday open house. That was a open house postcard that went out to about 400 homes prior to. And then after I sold a bunch of homes in one neighborhood, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I sold 7 homes there in about 4 months. And so I put together a postcard that had all the homes and the prices that they sold for as a marketing piece for myself. I went through and took a bunch of testimonials, and all of the testimonials that I get are in the book and ready for people to read. They say that I'm a reasonably sane human being, most of the time. And Then I give them a list of some of the homes that I've sold. It's pretty small type, and it goes on for a few pages. But that just gives them an idea that I've got a little bit of experience. Escape to the Woods. Again, it was a cover for a brochure that I wrote for one of the listings that I had. I show them all the stuff I've got in terms of degrees and certifications. Obviously, a degree in economics from Western Michigan, associate's degree from Lake Michigan College, Floyd Wickman courses, Graduate Realtors Institute, blah, 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 blah. Nice letter from Dave Leniger when I was inducted into the RE/MAX Hall of Fame. And then a bunch of handwritten notes from people, even pictures. This is actually my 30-year-old daughter. That's how old that note is. That shows that how much they appreciated having my daughter and I come out on a Saturday morning, and after they bought the house and helped them measure rooms. I put it all in there, and then I just let them sort of sit. And I always share this one. You know, I don't know if we can get good tight enough on this or not. See how we're doing there, Dom.
A little closer. Tip it down.
Dip it down?
Yeah.
There's always someone who'll do it for less money. That's a really powerful statement, and it's a really powerful graphic. When you get the issue of, will you cut your commission? Show them that picture. Well, I could, but you can get a lot of people to cut your commission for you. Do you want the best commission or lowest commission, or do you want the best job done? The question really is up to you. So, once they've had an opportunity to digest all of that, I say to them, based on what I've shown you, do you think I'm capable of selling your home? Yes or no? And the answer is yeah. Yeah, you're probably capable. How about we get the ball rolling? And I may get objections at that point. I may get people who say, well, you know, we want to think about it. Didn't want to wait till spring. And we talked about the handling objections process at that point. And you can go in and start addressing those kind of issues. But I think the point is that if you build a listing presentation, whether it's in good old-fashioned book form, whether it's in a laptop or a tablet that you can present to them electronically, it's all good stuff. But the more proof statements that you can put in graphic presentation, it's going to be much more powerful. Again, any questions? No questions. Again, thanks for the late start, but we covered a lot of ground. See you next week.